welcome to another episode of Practical Magic Musings, Rituals and Wisdom for Your Most Magical Life. I'm your host, Cassandra Bodzak, and today's episode is a little impromptu because I had something else planned for you guys, but I've been going on a complete cleaning binge the past few days. It's been crazy we just had this new moon in Leo, and I've been staying up all night, all day. I've just been compulsively wanting to clean and purge and just reorganize everything in my house. I've started with my kitchen. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're live in the kitchen. I thought it would be appropriate to record this in the kitchen. However, from this particular angle, it actually doesn't look as clean as it really is here. I feel like because I just have a lot of stuff on my fridge, pictures and stuff wise. So if you're on YouTube, I'm going to cut to some clips so you can see some of the work I've done because I'm very proud of it. And I'll show you inside some of my cabinets. And for those of you who are listening on the podcast, you can for sure, if you're so interested, head on over to YouTube. But this episode is going to be about why do you get the urge to clean at certain times and what it means energetically. So you're going to have two ways you can use this episode. One is going to be to explain and help you understand the energetics of why at certain points. And I'm not talking about like if you're someone that's just a naturally very, very clean person that always has to like clean compulsively. I'm talking about when you kind of get these like really overwhelming out of the blues. It's almost like your entire being is like, we need to clean stuff out, we need to clear stuff out, we need to throw stuff out, we need to reorganize things. When we get like overcome with these energetic waves to do that, what that means. And so like I said, you can use this episode in one of two ways. You can use it to help you understand what's going on energetically when you're in one of those moments, and two, if you want to inspire one of those moments, you can also utilize it in that way and, kind of induce your own cleaning spell with this. One of the episodes I want to do with you guys is all about what are the most practical things that we already do that are their own spells. Because I really feel like there are so many of the things that I use in my energetic work are really everyday things. And when we use them with intention, when we know the metaphysics behind it, when we know the energy we're working with, they're just that more powerful. So before we dive into this episode, I want to, because I've made it a little bit of habit now, to read you guys a 5-star review every time. So I'm going to read the most recent one that literally just popped up from Casey. Cassandra is my go-to for all things in life, biz, magic, and in the kitchen. Thank you for sharing your voice, and I love this podcast. Thank you, Casey, for sharing your review. I appreciate you guys when you leave 5-star reviews. It means the world to me. And like I said, for every 25 5-star reviews we get, I'm going to pick one person to get a free one-on-one breakthrough session with me, which is a pretty amazing bonus. So if you love this podcast, show me a little love, hit 5 stars, write me a little review. I actually only think I see your name if you write the review as well, just a little caveat. So do that so I can pick you to win. All right, without further ado, let us jump in to why do you get the urge to clean and what does it mean metaphysically? What does it mean energetically for you? So first things first, let's just cover this. One of the first primary things that we do in the practical magic training when you sign up for it and you get your pre-work, we do a massive energetic clean out. So we clean out all the different rooms of your house. We clean out your electronic rooms. We clean out all the different parts of your life. And the reason that this is the absolute first thing, and I'm very incessant about it being the first process that we start, is because in order for us to welcome in something new or create space in our life, first we have to clear space. So I induce a cleaning spell, a clearing out spell with the training as the first thing to kind of make way for this massive up-leveling, this massive initiation. So if we think of it that way, we can also feel that happen naturally in our lives, right? So your soul, your body has an intuition about when things are about to happen. And, if you ask a lot of people that are moms, right? I've heard a lot of my girlfriends say this, that in the very early stages of pregnancy, or perhaps even before they officially knew they were pregnant, they had a real nesting spell. Like all of a sudden, they had to rearrange the house. They had to move things around. This often, your body energetically knows it's preparing for this new visitor in your life. Right? And also, I truly believe intuitively knows that you're not going to have time to do that stuff when the kid arrives. And similar, there's a lot of things in our life, not just babies, that bring on that spell, right? So think about, for me, when it comes on, sometimes it'll be, a new work project that's coming on, right? So right before I'm going to dive into writing a book, right before I'm going to dive into perhaps having to travel somewhere to do a speaking engagement or to film something, right before I'm about to get a whole wave of new clients, energetically, a lot of times I wouldn't even have to consciously do it. Energetically, I will know that, all right, it's like I start cleaning, right? And I'm like, I'm doing all of this because, again, intuitively, I know that something's about to happen that I'm going to want to have this cleaned for, right? So on one hand, it's like, yeah, you're going to want to have your house cleaned when, the baby comes, when you're writing a book, when you're traveling and working on a big project, when you meet your partner, right? And so intuitively, you'll know that, and energetically, you'll be compelled to do it. And the other aspect of that, right, is that there is, so that the practical, let's break it down to practical magic, right? So that's the practical part of it. The practical part is that, well, you're going to want it to be clean when the partner gets there, when your family surprise visits you, when your baby comes, when you're traveling for 3 weeks, when you're working nonstop on a book. You're just practically going to want your space to be clean. Magically, you're energetically clearing space. Every single object, whether it's, this cup, this glass, whether it's this index card, every single object in your home holds energy. And so instinctively, intuitively, when we're ready to welcome in a new chapter, we want to clear out the old. We want to get rid of any of the stagnant energy that no longer belongs in our house, that maybe is blocking something from coming, and we want to release it. Maybe after you've gone through a breakup, or you're going through a big life transition, or you're releasing some trauma or some stories, right? A lot of times when we're doing this deep spiritual work, when we're really showing up, when we're looking at our fears, when we're looking at our trauma, when we're clearing things out, when we're busting through limiting beliefs, when we're transcending to different ways of being, to showing up for ourselves in a whole new different way, our environment needs to shift to match. Our environment needs to up-level its vibration to now be in tune with our vibration. And when those vibrations are out of whack, right? So if you're, let's just for the sake, we're going to put numbers to it. If you're vibrating at an 11, right? And you were maybe formerly at an 8, and your apartment or your house was vibrating at an 8. Now you're vibrating at an 11 because you've done a lot of work, you're clearing, you're moving into a new frontier. Your house is still vibrating at 8. It's almost going to feel painful. In fact, that's a lot of what was going on recently for me, where I was feeling uncomfortable in my apartment. And for those who have followed me for years, I love my apartment. I have like a really nice, spacious, bright light, 1-bedroom in Santa Monica that's perfect for me. And I've been here for a few years now. And it literally was a whole other episode on manifesting your dream place. But this was my dream place when I moved in. And it's really been that for the past few years. And recently I was really feeling the vibrational discrepancy. I was really feeling, wow, I don't feel like my home is vibrationally aligned anymore to where I am. And now I wasn't necessarily consciously doing anything about it, it was an idea in my mind, and I was like, okay, are there things I could do to upgrade it? I got a new couch, and I upgraded some of the furniture in the living room, and there were like little tweaks I made that made me happier. I asked myself, okay, and this is again something you can do. I asked myself, are there any specific big pieces of furniture? Are there any specific things that really, really are out of alignment for me right now? That really don't feel good. So when I say out of alignment, you might be like, how can I be out of alignment with a chair? Well, you can be out of alignment with a chair. You can be out of alignment literally I could be out of alignment with this mason jar glass that I have right now. I'm not. I like this mason jar glass. But if energetically I didn't like I love mason jar glasses, right? Which might seem like a nonsensical thing to mention, but because I actually love mason jar glasses, this brings me joy. I love, pouring my sparkling water as is in my mason jar glass. That makes me happy. I actually save a lot of mason jars and different, I save my coconut oil glass jar afterwards, and I use them all as cups because I love it. One, I just like to reuse the glass, and also it just makes me happy. Now, someone else could be completely out of alignment with a mason jar. They could look at that and be like, ew, that makes me feel poor, or I think it's ugly, or whatever, right? And they could not want that in their house, right? Because it's not in alignment with them, because it doesn't bring them joy. So let's say if you're looking at the pillows on your couch and they don't make you happy and you don't like them, and they not only don't bring you joy, right? It's amazing, and as many of the things in your house, I hope, bring you joy. When you look at your plants or your books or the pictures that you hang on the wall, you want to have a feeling of joy, and at the very least, you want to have a feeling of contentment, right? So that's really the bar. You should at least have contentment. I might not look at, you can see if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I have a little, what is it, some magic bullet blender. When I look at it aesthetically, it doesn't bring me joy. It brings me contentment, though, because I know that it makes my life so much easier in the morning when I'm trying to make a quick smoothie on the go. So it's okay. It's in alignment, right? And so noticing those things. So anyway, when I first noticed that, when I was out of vibrational alignment, something you can do is look at the big things in your house. Can you upgrade them? So I upgraded my couch because my couch was really out of alignment. I had gotten Carl, my little adopted Yorkie, about a year and a few months ago now. And Carl pretty much destroyed that beige couch. And I had been waiting to buy a new one because I couldn't really figure out how to get him to not destroy whatever I was going to buy. And so I finally decided I needed to just buy a new couch and tell him he couldn't be on it. And I bet let's see, is he on it? I don't know where he is. I bet as I look over right now, he's probably on the couch while I'm talking in the living room. But anyway, when I got the new couch, it made me feel better in that room. And that's what you're going for. You want to be in energetic alignment with your surroundings, or you even want your surroundings to lift you vibrationally. And now we're going to a whole different level, right? But when I wake up, and I'm sure you can relate to this, if you wake up and everything is nice and organized and everything is nice and clean, like the morning you wake up, let's say after cleaning day, or if you have a house cleaner or whatever, the morning you wake up and your house is clean, and you look around, you're like, ooh, right? It's a vibrational upgrade because your cocoon, your energetic cocoon, your home is your sanctuary. And when your sanctuary raises your vibration, when your sanctuary holds you to a higher vibration, right? Then you start showing up as a higher vibration. This is a little diatribe, but for most of my adult life, I always lived in apartments that were a little bit nicer than I thought I could afford. And that's not the case currently because I've been in my place for a few years, and it's rent controlled. So I'm definitely living below my means right now, but I still really love the apartment, so we're working on that. But I would live in a place that I thought was really beautiful, that was maybe just like a teeny bit more expensive than I was originally hoping to pay. But I would wake up and I would feel so abundant in the space, and it would make me feel so happy that I just naturally rose to that vibration, and paying for it became nothing. This is not my endorsement for you to, go into debt or put yourself in a bad situation, but within reason, pushing that limits for a place that really raises you vibrationally, that makes you feel abundant and joyous and just like grateful when you open your eyes and you're like, oh my God, this beautiful apartment that I love, or this living in my favorite part of town, where I can wake up and walk to my favorite shops and meet up with my friends. Those little things really do matter. So to bring it back to our original topic, we get the urge to clean sometimes, or to organize, to throw stuff out when we've upgraded vibrationally, and now we need our environment to match it. Because then we'll feel in harmony, then we'll feel in peace, then we feel good once again in our sanctuary, which is a very, very important thing. We all have different energetic recharging type. Some people really recharge with other people. I really recharge by myself. But regardless if you recharge alone or by yourself, your home is your recharging portal. It is literally the place you go to plug in, recharge your batteries, recalibrate. It needs to be a safe zone. It needs to be a clean, clear, open energy space for you. And so one of the things that we're naturally inclined and compelled to do is to clear it energetically. And we will naturally have different cycles where we want to spend more time doing that. So around a new moon or a full moon are very common times to feel the urge to purge. I wanted to title the podcast The Urge to Purge, but I thought people might misunderstand that. I'm talking about purging your cabinets and throwing out stuff you don't like. But so this one was just a new moon, but a full moon or new moon, full moon really represents the releasing and the letting go. So a lot of times during a full moon, you will have that urge to Marie Kondo your closet and throw out all those sweaters you haven't worn, or get rid of that painting from your ex-boyfriend, or whatever it is. You'll have that urge to maybe clean out your fridge if you're wanting to do that. And a new moon can also bring on that urge for a similar reason. With the full moon, we focus on releasing a lot of stuff, but on the new moon, you're starting something fresh. Right? So if you're launching a project, like I launched this Practical Magic Musings, now you might be like, how is Practical Magic Musings connected to you cleaning your kitchen? Well, it's energy. Everything is energy. The energy that I'm giving you by doing this podcast, right? The energy that I'm putting forth into the world, and the energy that I'm holding in my space from birthing this project from my heart, it had to come from, I needed the space to hold it, right? So let's say, for instance, energetically, your relationships hold up energy, your creative projects hold up energy, anything that's getting your focus and attention holds up energy, right? So when you launch a new project, whether that's a new sewing hobby, whether that's a podcast, whether that's writing a book, whether that's playing on a group volleyball team, whether that's dating someone new, or whether it's even just trying to make a friend, right? We need energetic space so that we can be a bigger container to hold it all. And that's one of the biggest things I talk about with my one-on-one clients and in the Practical Magic training, is that so often we're great manifestors, right? We bring amazing things into our lives often. The problem is that we're great at getting the flowers, so to speak, the things that we manifest. We're not great at expanding our vase. So we're trying to put, 3 dozen roses in my little mason jar thing, and then we're wondering why we end up losing 2 dozen of them and we can't hold on to it. And we're like, oh, well, I had everything going. I had, my fitness, and a guy and the friendships and my business. I had everything going for like 2 weeks and then it all went to shit. And we wonder why. It's because you're great at calling it in. You can call it in. You're a magnet. But if you haven't created the space energetically to hold it, you won't maintain it. I mean, that's the whole reason behind the practical magic training. And a lot of the stuff that you'll notice is a theme on this podcast as well, is that, you will naturally, it goes back to the magical reason where, when you're about to have a baby or about to engage in a more serious partnership or about to take a new job or about to start a new project or about to go on a trip, right? When something's about to happen that's going to take up a large amount of your energy or your time, the practical is like, yeah, it'd be great to have a clean house for a while that goes on. And then the magical is like, okay, we need to clear some massive energy right now. We need to make some massive energetic space so that we can welcome this into our container, so that we can hold it and it can find a comfy home in our container because there's so much space. And so oftentimes when we think about energy and we think about, I'm going to add a new project to my plate, or I'm going to have a baby, or I'm going to whatever, we think on a more linear term, and we'll be like, all right, well, if I have 7 projects going on right now and I want to add this other one, maybe I should find one to release, which is a very logical, linear way of looking at it. And it's not wrong, because all of those 7 projects hold energy as well. So if you release one in order to welcome in another, that can help for sure. But also, it's energy is not linear like that, where you could have 7 projects going, and if you need to welcome an 8, you might purge a lot of stuff from your closet. You might completely, decide to get rid of some old bicycles you're holding on to. You might clean out your inbox, right? Everything is energy. And so when you're clearing out energetically, you're really making that space, and you know it. And so that's kind of what's going on, right? And when you get those urges, it's because we are drawn. When we allow ourselves to be in the flow, when we allow ourselves to not have resistance, when we honor our urges, like this weekend when I've just been cleaning kind of like a maniac, it wasn't because in my head I was like, you have to clean the house this weekend. Absolutely not. In fact, I was hoping to kind of, record like 20 different podcasts this weekend for you guys. But, and I had to stop myself from cleaning to be like, let's record a podcast about cleaning, because I bet a lot of other people have had this urge or are having this urge right now, which is why I think it'll be particularly cool to get this out there to anyone who is actually cleaning this weekend and wants to listen to it. And so the second half, or the flip side of this, is that if you're ready to manifest something in your life, if you're ready to call in something big, then a really great preemptive universal gesture is to do a massive cleaning. And cleaning is one of the most practical magic spells, right? Because you're literally creating an energetic opening to call in the thing that you're ready to call in. So how do you clean with intention, right? That could be another book, Cleaning with Intention. Maybe not. I really don't have a desire to write about cleaning. But it would be in a book about energy for sure. Will be. This will definitely make my next book because it's a huge part. It's the kickoff, right, of the training. And so cleaning with intention. So let's say you're ready to manifest something. You want to manifest, let's say we'll do 2 scenarios. We'll do a romantic manifestation and a financial manifestation. So let's say you're ready to call in a romantic manifestation. Now, one of the things I would ask myself, if you want to get really specific with your cleaning, so you're setting the intention when you clean your house, and you can have a more sacred cleaning experience. For instance, when I'm cleaning, I'm saging, I'm using Palo Santo. I usually will light an intention candle. I'm setting the intention, right? I have a really clear intention as to why I'm cleaning right now. And it actually came to me last week in a meditation, this idea. And then this urge kind of followed it. I got the kind of logistical cue of like, okay, if I'm ready to manifest that, then I should probably clean my house. I should probably like throw out some stuff and like, and get that energy going. And then the natural urge emerged as well, which you'll find if you're open and you're listening intuitively to what's going on. That does happen. So let's say you're like, all right, Cass, I'm not feeling the urge. I'm not feeling incredibly compelled, but I'm fascinated. I'm interested because of this podcast. And so now you're open to thinking about what you want to manifest. And let's say you want to manifest your romantic partner. Okay, we'll start with that example. So you're setting that intention. And so let's say what I would, basic candle ritual to get you going. First things first, I would sage and clear out, any stagnant energy, any icky energy in your whole place. You're going to start in the bedroom. So you might want to start there. Of course, if you're looking you want to think of the rooms in your house as symbols of the different rooms in your life. And just like while I said, things are not so linear with energy. So cleaning out your living room or cleaning out your kitchen is also going to help you call in that romantic partner. The center for that partner, the nucleus, let's say, energetically, symbolically, would be your bedroom. So you'd want to start there. You'd want to sage everything. You'd want to Palo Santo, follow it up. And if you don't have either of those tools, you can simply, you could even get like a spray water bottle or an aromatherapy mist and just set the intention as you're spraying it. I'm cleaning and clearing any stagnant energy. Open up the windows so the energy has space to leave. I'm clearing any energy that's no longer serving me. Right? And you just keep on repeating that. Energetically, you can move the energy out on your own. It just so happens those allies are powerful and, very ancient tools to do that with. And then if you'd like to even take it a step further and really intentionally clean, find a candle to light that symbolizes what you're calling in. So maybe pick a beautiful pink or red candle for that romantic interest. Light that. And again, just interchangeably. Let's say it's money. You might want to do it in your office, or if you don't have an office, the living room, right? And do the same thing. Clear it and then light a green candle, right? And set that intention. And when you're lighting that candle, you just want to be really clear. I'm ready to call in X, Y, and Z. And I'm cleaning, and help me clean and clear any energy in my physical, emotional, or spiritual space that needs to be moved in order to call that in for both of our highest good. And you light that candle, and then you get to cleaning. And you can put on some nice mantra music or some solfeggio frequencies, or you can put on Beyonce, have fun with it. I love listening to audiobooks while I clean. I think I've already been through 2 audiobooks right now. And they're both differently. I was listening to one from Dr. Perricone last night, and then I was listening to Gary V. Crush It again today. I listened to Carolyn Meese, The Energy Anatomy. I love listening to audios. So make it fun for yourself, and then start going through the room and little by little cleaning, and throwing out stuff that doesn't feel in alignment, that's not vibrationally aligned anymore. If you're calling in something specific, so for instance, if you're calling in that romantic partner, really looking at your bedroom and asking yourself, is this bedroom ready for my soulmate? Is this house ready for my soulmate, right? And it's not in a judgy, am I good enough kind of way. It's like, do I feel like this place is equipped for my person here, right? So it's little things like making sure you have bedside tables on both sides, making sure you have, a reasonable sheet set and pillows that are nice and someone's going to want to sleep on, right? Oftentimes when it's just us, we'll make some, we'll get by with certain things that if we had a partner, we wouldn't, right? Maybe if I had a partner, my laundry wouldn't be tossed in a pile in a corner. Maybe I just get a hamper and put it in a nice area of the room or whatnot. Really looking through those lenses of if you knew that this thing was happening tomorrow, how would you want your space to be to hold it? So similarly with the career thing or the money stuff, maybe you're like, well, if I'm a $1 million business owner, then what does my office look like? Am I going to still have this, janky desk organizer? Am I going to have all these gats of things on my desk? Or do I envision myself with a really clean, sleek desk? Right? Do I like this picture here or would I put a different picture? Or sometimes maybe there's no pictures and you're like, oh, actually I want some art on the walls or something, right? So again, looking with those eyes, cleaning with intention, purging with intention, getting rid of the things that don't bring you joy, getting the things that aren't in vibrational alignment is a beautiful way to say, hey, I'm ready to bring in the next thing. And, like I said, oftentimes when we're tuned in, when we're listening to our intuition, the universe, God, source, our soul, our inner being leads us in that direction. And you'll start noticing it by feeling a little bit more compelled to clean. And like I said, it's really a beautiful thing when we're able to drop into our intuition that way. And if you haven't listened to the last episode all about intuition, go do that because that actually plays a part in this as well, right? You're allowing yourself to be led. And that's why I love it when I get these, I don't know, I have an idea of what could be coming, which is why I have this urge to clean so much. But also it could completely surprise me. And regardless of, what you're calling in or what's about to come that you're energetically preparing for, it's so healing and such a beautiful thing you can do for yourself to really clean and purge out things in your physical space that aren't serving you anymore. It's one of the most healing things you can do. So especially if you're listening to this and you've been drawn and you've been thinking about cleaning and you've been like, just make the time and do it. There is a time and a purpose for everything. So going back to that trusting your intuition, and the episode I was meant to record today, which I might record later, was all about how to retrust your intuition, how to regain that trust when you feel like you've been wrong, because I thought it'd be a good follow-up to the last episode on intuition. But it, it kind of weaves in with this, where when you really trust your intuition, like for instance, right now, this weekend, I have all of this exciting, creative ideas is planned for some business stuff that's going on around this podcast and just around overall stuff in my brand and things we're moving. And I'm trusting the overwhelming urge to clean and purge because I feel so intuitively guided there, because I feel so compelled. So while, yes, if you have some time on your hands and you're feeling inspired and you want to clean because you want to set the intention and welcome something in, that's great. What this podcast is mostly about and what's really important is listening to your intuition and trusting your intuition when we get that urge, when we feel compelled, when we feel drawn to do something like a massive purging or a massive cleaning, because oftentimes when we're too in our practical mind and not acknowledging the magic of life and not trusting in the synchronicities and not trusting in our intuition and not trusting that we are being guided, that's when you say, oh, but I don't have time to do that. I have to run errands, or I don't have time to do that because I should be answering my emails instead, or I don't have time to do that, whatever. You need to honor the compulsion. You need to honor the fact that you're being magnetized to do this right now, and it's for a reason. It's because you're, let's say your quote unquote small mind is thinking, okay, do I have time to clean, or should I be, answering these business emails, right? And so, of course, there are some times where you have to handle the things you have to handle. But I'm just saying, like in this case where it's the weekend, where I could be socializing, or I could be, working on some other thing for my business, I am prioritizing the cleaning because I feel how magnetized I am from an intuitive level to it. And I trust and I know and I understand, and the reason why I'm recording this podcast is to share this with all of you as well, that there is so much magic going on behind the scenes. There is so much behind the curtain when you are feeling compelled to get rid of things in your life, when you're feeling compelled to reorganize things in your life. And when we trust that, oh my gosh, that's when the floodgates open. That's when, that amazing thing happens out of the blue. I'll never forget my first time doing a thorough purge a few years ago. It was my East Village apartment. I decided to dedicate an entire weekend. I had the teeniest East Village apartment, teeny tiny, and literally purged probably 22 big black garbage bags worth of stuff, and donations to the Salvation Army, and selling things to, selling books to used bookstores, and all the things. God, the amount of stuff that I released from this apartment, it was mind-boggling that it was even in the apartment, that it even fit in the apartment. And while that happened, I remember I wasn't at my computer. I was just doing it. It was a weekend, whatever. And I had 2 interviews. I think one was from the Huffington Post. The other one was from another awesome blog thing that's escaping me right now. I had 3 new client inquiries just that weekend, right? And not too much longer after that, I got the message to move to California. But when I was purging, when I was cleaning, I wasn't setting the intention to get more clients, or setting the intention to get an interview or something like that, and be featured in the Huffington Post. It was completely out of my realm of consciousness that I could be moving to LA or anything like that. I just honored this urge, right? And then so much came out of it, and I can't even tell you the stories I have from the girls in Practical Magic when they, when I kind of forced them to do this, to clear the energy, is incredible. And then I was going to give you, so another example of honoring when you have these compulsions is when I was finishing up Eat With Intention, I hit a roadblock. I think after it was the last 3 chapters I had to write. And I was just I felt for anyone who's ever written a book, you understand, you get to this place where you feel completely creatively drained. You feel exhausted. You've read your own words so many times. Your eyes are crossing. And you literally feel like if you were a sponge, someone squeezed every this drip out of you. So I was feeling at that moment, I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to get these last 2 chapters done. How am I going to do it? And it was 2 a.m. at the point. I was just staying up all night. I tend to write late when I'm in creative flow. So I honor that when I'm book writing. And it was 2 a.m. and I'm writing in this area of my living room that is my office area. And I just get this overwhelming urge to move my desk to my bedroom, to completely reorganize my bedroom, make a little space, move my desk to this one specific wall in my bedroom, and then organize all of these candles around it. So literally at 2 a.m., I'm cleaning, I'm moving and reorganizing my whole bedroom. I'm cleaning and reorganizing my whole desk. I'm taking everything off of it, all of the things. I'm moving my desk into this other room. I'm resetting it up now with this vision that I had with all the candles everywhere. By 3 a.m., it's all done. And I stay up until the morning and I finish the whole book that night. And that's perhaps probably like the biggest testimonial I can give you to honor those intuitive urges to clean, to reorganize, to move furniture, because it matters, right? For whatever reason, the rest of that book needed to be born in my bedroom with that specific arrangement. And the energy there was what I needed. And whatever energy was in that current space was blocking my flow. And it could have been simply the fact that I had spent so much time already in that one space that I needed an energetic clearing and an opening to let the rest of the book fall through, because that I like drained that space already. The truth is, it doesn't matter exactly why. What matters is that you get the urge, you have the inkling, and you honor it. And it's all of those times, especially, this particular episode is about the cleaning and the organizing and the moving things around and purging and of garbage and things that aren't aligned anymore. But of course that goes for everything, right? It's when we actually show up to those urges, we move around our calendar a little bit and we say, hey, maybe it's not the most glamorous thing. If you guys watching me on YouTube, I have my hair up, and if you guys on the podcast, you can't see this. Like, I'm not wearing makeup. My hair is in like a crazy bun at the top of my head. I put on a gold headband for the video, so to try to make it a little bit better. And I'm wearing a sundress. It's like a little comfy house dress because I've been cleaning all day. It's not the most glamorous way to spend my weekend. I'm not probably going to go out tonight unless maybe I meet up with someone local and grab dinner. And I look forward to spending the rest of the night cleaning, because that is what's being energetically called of me. And I know and I trust and my intuition enough to know that it's serving a purpose. And there is, like I said, there is so much magic and energy shifting below the surface when you are honoring these intuitive nudges. When you get that hit that says, get that chair out of here. And you're like, what? I was okay with that chair like last week, and like this week, that chair is bothering me every single day. Get rid of that chair. Get a new chair. I'm not saying you have to spend thousands of dollars on all this stuff, right? You could literally get another chair on Craigslist that you just happen to like, right? And get rid of that other one, because everything is energy. And so we might not always intellectually understand why something needs to be purged, but we will feel it, that it needs to go. And so it's important to honor that, right? And similarly, like I said, this extends to any area of your life, but this particular podcast episode, is really a PSA to listen to your intuition, to honor the urge when it comes up, and to realize that it's actually a very sacred, ceremonious gesture to clear space, to open space, to reorganize and clean and clear and create space in your sanctuary, in your recharging portal. Your body is your temple for your soul, but your home is the temple for your physical body as well as your soul, of course, right? And so we need to treat our homes like temples. They are sacred ground for us. They are very, very, very important, and they will tell us, right? Like our intuition and our home, they'll tell us when things need to be shifted. And they just tell us by us not feeling good in a room anymore, by us, feeling a particular repulsion to a certain item, by us just feeling that urge to clean and to reorganize. So I hope that you listen. I hope that this episode was interesting and inspiring and maybe gave you a new take on the sacred ceremony and ritual that is cleaning and reorganizing and purging of things in your home. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know If you enjoyed this episode, if you want more episodes like this where I decode the practical magic meaning of everyday activities and their sacredness and all the magic going on behind the scenes. And of course, if you get inspired to clean from this episode, please tag me in your stories and your pictures on Instagram so I can see them, so I can repost them, so I can share the love. If you'd like to join my Appreciate community, it's an online spiritual community. You can do that at appreciate.com to stay connected to your intuition on the reg, as well as get my Practical Magic One-on-One 101 workshop for free at thepracticalmagictraining.com/workshop. That link's also available in the details of this episode. As well as, if you like this episode, please subscribe. If you're on YouTube, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, let me know why you liked it, what's important to you, so I can make sure I create content that you love. And if you are on iTunes, I would be so grateful if you would leave me a 5-star review and let me know why you love the podcast and what you'd like to see more of on it. It means the world to me. Until next time, happy cleaning and happy magic making.